Steve Saka is kind of institution, kind of myth, kind of legend. This is the guy who was the blender for Drew Estate and the League of Privadas and everything else. And then he went out on his own with Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. And I'd say near everything. I'm hard-pressed to think of something that hasn't just been wonderful. The Red Meat Lovers, which was done on a lark and then he put into production. The Maestra de Sakas, the Paladin de Saka, the Now Leave Me the Hell Alone, which I can never remember to do the letters because I have to think about it as I do it. The things that he does with joy, he does with intensity. He's a character. But he builds the cigars to back it up. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. And this right here is the Umbagog Bronzeback. Now, there is the Umbagog out there. Comes in a couple of different vitolas, a couple of different shapes. This, which just got released this year, you don't find it everywhere. This is the Bronzeback. So Umbagog refers to Steve Saka's favorite lake. Bronzeback is a type of fish. Fingers Malloy, did you know that?
I caught 3 yesterday.
This right here, no, he didn't, is a 5x48, which means it is 5 inches long. Always makes Fingers Malloy laugh. Makes me laugh, too. And the ring gauge is a 48, the diameter of the cigar, or how thick it is around. Again, with the laughter. So a 64 ring gauge would be a full 1 inch around. So this is a much smaller ring gauge. There is something to those in terms of how you have the ratio of wrapper to binder and filler. You're dealing with the USA Connecticut broadleaf in the wrapper here, Nicaragua in the binder and filler. It's beautiful. It is this brown with touches of dark brown and almost looks a little bit rustic. And you don't often get that look in a cigar. It's a beautiful piece.
It is. First of all, have you ever purified yourself in the waters of Lake Umbagog?
Have I ever communed with nature, allowing myself to float free in the calm, cool waters of Lake Umbagog and realize that the Lord loves me and is holding me in his wet hands?
His wet hands?
It's a lake.
Fair enough.
No, I haven't. I've never done that, Fingers.
Oh, did that 3 times yesterday.
So this, I moved. I have to. That's where you caught the fish.
Yes. Speaking of the cigar, though, it is a very nice, dark, chocolatey wrapper. And I got to tell you something that I really like about this cigar. And I know it's going to sound silly. The band. Just a simple little band. The last few cigars I have smoked, the band has taken up 3/4 of the cigar.
Right.
And then I need a letter opener to be able to get it off because of the amount of glue that is on the band.
He has to get a cipher from the CIA to figure it out. This is green with bronze writing, just says Umbagog on it, Umbagog. This also, for a 48 ring gauge, 5-inch cigar, has a bit of heft. It feels good in the hand. It's actually surprising the weight here.
It actually does feel heavier than you would think it should be when you're looking at it in the humidor. Which, by the way, Tony, the 1700 stick humidor is looking to it's getting a little empty there.
I know. I have some shopping to do. After the show,
yeah,
we're going to be like, okay, what are the next 20 we're going to smoke? oh, Daddy's going to place an order. I believe is in this conversation, Fingers. I am Daddy. The Umbagog Bronzeback, Bronze, the Bronzeback. Get your notebook out. What did you eat today? What did you drink today? What is the weather? In Indianapolis, we broke from the humidity. We have had some spectacular weather over the last week. Humidity is creeping back in. A little bit of rain has come through as well. All of those things will affect your palate. What did you eat? What did you drink? These things will affect your palate as well. And you want to write it down because you might find after you've eaten certain things, you taste things in a certain way. And maybe that's a plus, maybe it's a minus. And then take the cigar and break it up into thirds in your mind. First third, second third, final third. Take your time with the cigar, especially on a 5-inch cigar, Robusto size like this. And what are the flavors you're getting? You want to write that down. Any notebook will do. And then what you do is you come back to that cigar a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, you write the notes again, you compare them, get your through lines, get an idea of where that flavor is for you, get an understanding of your palate with the cigar.
Yeah, and for me, with the Umbagog, we just lit this, a little bit of coffee and a little bit of spice when I first lit it, and within about 2 minutes, that spice really intensified for me.
What kind of spice? Let's try and break this down a little bit.
Like maybe a white pepper?
Yeah, I don't get anything that hard. I think there's a little bit of wood going on, which I like tremendously. There is a richness, spice, yeah, but flavorful, right? I'm not, at least from the first. We just lit this. I don't get intensity, right? And so when you say white pepper, I sometimes feel that that's a little more intense of a flavor. At least that's the way I think I would view it. And I don't know, maybe I have to really start rating these things: black pepper, white pepper, red pepper, and where they fit. But I get the feel like you're saying it with a bit of intensity. I'm not there. I get more of the wood, and I'm getting more of a rich earth.
Okay.
I get right. There's almost like a cream back going on there.
So you're not getting any coffee. See, I'm getting coffee and white pepper, or however you want to describe that. It's a pretty significant bit of spice.
All right, I said cream back. I see. If I close my eyes, I can get there. I get what you're saying about coffee, right? That does exist, but you're a little bit more into the cigar than I am.
Yeah.
I could see how you get there. I can see how that comes to you. I will tell you this: it feels wonderful, wonderful in the hand, smoking wonderful. That flavor is not in the cheek; it is really on the tongue, front to back, side to side. There's a fullness, there's a coating going on.
Yeah, for me, it's tongue and roof of the mouth, and it's also really nice to have. Again, the last couple cigars I've had, I'm not going to name them. I've been disappointing. This is such an easy draw, and there's a lot of really nice, pleasant smoke coming off of the cigar. I just get a sense, and we're just in the first third. Obviously, we just lit this. It's already setting up to be a low maintenance cigar. I feel like, I'm watching you hold yours right now, and I don't think you have taken a puff in a little while, and there's still smoke coming off of the foot. So,
and this is interesting because the regular Umbagog is also a Connecticut broadleaf, but it's a different cut off of the plant where Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust took the leaf from. And so the feel is that the leaf here is supposed to provide more spice. I want to see how as I get through the first third, because we've just started, whether or not I really do get a spice build. The fact that things are really happening on the tongue and not for me on the cheek leaves the possibility out there, because that's usually where I get it. I think most people do. But right now, super pleasant. The Umbagog Bronzeback, Bronze, the Umbagog Bronzeback from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Grab one, smoke along with us. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Halloween is right around the corner. Yeah, I know it's August. I'm fully aware that it is August. But Halloween right around the corner. And already, you've just sent the kids back to school, and in some places you're still about to. Stores are gearing up. Chocolate, peanut butter and chocolate and peanut butter, crunchies. Notice I left out the Skittles because those aren't candy. Those are garbage. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is Fingers Malloy. Find it all at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Are you a Skittles guy?
I'm fine with them.
No, you're not.
I'm not fine with them?
Are you fine with Tootsie Rolls?
Yes.
Because I will throw you out right now.
I'm fine with Tootsie Rolls.
Devil's Cat.
On the list of candy for Halloween, it's towards the bottom.
On the list of candy for Halloween, it's not candy. That's science. There is now new candy out. Hershey unveiling its Halloween candy lineup. And according to the people at eatthis.com, it's deliciously spooky.
Oh,
deliciously spooky, which is how I have defined myself on Tinder. So they've got a bunch of them. You got the Kit Kat Ghost Toast.
What?
It is the crispy wafer that Kit Kat fans know and love, plus a new cinnamon toast flavored cream. And just like that, fingers Malloy, Halloween is ruined.
Oh, see.
Ruined.
It's not the Tootsie Roll Reese's Kit Kat kaboom.
I said Halloween is ruined, not the nation. There's a difference. Yeah. Why? I have nothing against Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm down with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I don't want it in my Kit Kat. I want my Kit Kat to be a Kit Kat. Although I will try it just to make sure.
Some people try to reinvent the wheel, and that's what they're doing here. But you mentioned Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Is there a story?
I got a bag of it. I was going to bring it here, but I ate it.
Well then.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It was on clearance. Cinnamon Toast Crunch popcorn. It was
Really?
like a fiddle faddle kind of popcorn,
Right?
Except it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch flavor. Festival of flavor.
How big of a container?
Well, it said it served 6. Served 1.
Right? Over the course of days or course of minutes?
2 days. Yeah, okay. I was disciplined. I was
disciplined.
I'm guessing a 24-ounce bag. It wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't like you went to the county fair and got a big old bag of kettle corn or anything.
I love kettle corn. Well, can I share with you my popcorn problem?
Please do.
I want to thank you. Thank you. This is full admission. This is therapy time.
Oh, we're in group?
Yeah. Oh, we're in group. We're in group. I have discovered something about myself when it comes to popcorn. Whenever I'm eating anything, I chew with my mouth closed. Most times I use a knife and fork. I understand which spoon goes with what. I know how to use the outside fork. I even know what's happening when you put the knife or the fork above the plate. I know where I'm at. I'm a man who believes in upholding a standard. You've flown with me many times. You know I'm wearing a suit. You've been around me. Never a hair out of place, no matter where I'm going. I believe in respecting the people around me and showing respect for myself.
You are the most interesting man in the world.
I shaved. I shaved. Anytime I get like a neck beard, I have to shave that.
Same.
Right? That's not true at all. When I eat popcorn, I am the most disgusting human being who ever lived in the history of all mankind. I cannot, not only is it by the handful, not only is it quite literally my hand becomes a shovel. Like I have, I'm not Edward Scissorhands. I'm Edward Shovelhands. I eat at a speed that should be clocked by Guinness. I don't know why this is. I want to meet the people who can eat popcorn one piece at a time just so I can yell at them to stop it.
Brian Regan, the comedian, had a nice bit on going to the movies and seeing someone just like what you're describing, your situations with popcorn. I believe he called him Rat Boy. He was shoveling one after another handful of. I'm the same way when it comes to movie popcorn. Like if I make the crap in the microwave, there's
don't make it. We've discussed this before. You have to make the popcorn. You have to get the oil. You have to get the kernels. You got to shake it a little bit, baby, and then you got to let it pop.
Jiffy Pop
would be better than the microwave. Honestly, the microwave popcorn is. Don't take a great snack and ruin it for quote unquote speed or convenience. Don't do that to your taste buds. You have to make it. It is markedly better. It's so much tastier. It is so much more satisfying. It has better crunch. It has better smoothness. It'll increase your libido. What won't it do?
Well, not that that's necessary for some of us, but listen, this is the thing.
I was asked specifically to tell you that.
Popcorn, it takes hours to prepare.
What?
And then you got to get the big popcorn popper out, and then you got to melt the butter, and then the whole nine. Who has time for all that?
Popcorn popper?
Yeah, absolutely. You get the popcorn popper,
The
Right,
same
for
pot you make pasta in is the same pot you make popcorn
No,
in. And you don't use butter, you use oil.
No, I mean butter for the top.
Oh, yeah.
No, you get the popcorn popper with the lid that you put the butter on top with the holes on the lid, and then it melts into the popcorn, and then you're all set for when Love Boat comes on. You know what I'm referring to? I mean, those things were great, and everyone should have one, but it takes so long for the prep. When you just take a bag of generic popcorn and throw it in the microwave, and 90 seconds later, you think to yourself, this is the future. The future is now. I've got popcorn 90 seconds later.
If you ever want to know how dead Fingers Malloy was inside, go back and re-listen to that. Listen to the joylessness of, I grabbed the popcorn out of the cabinet and I threw it in the microwave and it went around and around and around, and the heat slowly cooked the kernels like my soul-sucking job has cooked away my life.
I don't think anyone could be accused of being joyless when they just described their evening, which includes watching Love Boat.
Solid point. You got to make your own. It's so much better.
May I make one point before we're done with the candy talk?
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're talking about candy.
I was going to bring a product over here today, but the local gas station didn't have it. The Reese's Caramel.
You know, you can shop at other places.
Well, it seems like this is the place to get it, is at the gas station. I had 2 of these not too long ago.
What is it called again?
It's the Reese's Caramel Big Cup. So think Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, but at the bottom of the cup, they've got a thin layer of caramel.
Can I ask, on the whole caramel thing, we're all just kidding ourselves, right?
How so?
It's not really necessary.
There's popcorn.
Oh, you just shut your mouth. And caramel and cheese, like you get it. Oh, what? Oh, my God. I forgot the name of the place in Chicago. Oh, my God. Garrett's. That is special. Oh, Garrett's popcorn is special. Yeah, but caramel and candy isn't really necessary, is it?
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
You just say that, but you don't actually mean that. Do you?
I do.
Eat, drink, smoke. It is your cigar bourbon foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. Let's go bourbon. Let's go barbecue. Our books available at Amazon.com. Get the Christmas gifts early this year. Let's go BBQ. Recipes, tips, and tales from the pit. And Let's Go Bourbon, the bourbon reader you've always needed, available at Amazon.com, Fingers Malloy.
Well, one thing I know about Amazon.com, if you are ordering books from there, supplies are limited.
Indeed. So get 127 copies today.
And don't be afraid to give that special someone a Labor Day gift.
Right.
And I can't think of a better Labor Day gift than especially Let's Go Barbecue.
Nothing is better. Nothing is better. Smoking the Umbagog Bronzeback from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. This is a little bit different than the original Umbagog, where this Connecticut broadleaf wrapper is cut from. This has been beautiful. I know. I went back and checked because you talked about spice and you thought there was white pepper, and I looked at a bunch of different people and people who reviewed the cigar and looked at the cigar. It's just, there is spice. And you said white pepper, and I'm not 100% sure I'm there with the white pepper. But the idea that it is massively pronounced, I'm not, that's not the way the cigar is hitting me.
Here's the deal. I don't consider it like, how sometimes when we're drinking a bourbon, you get that baking spice.
And what?
When you drink bourbon, or there's more of a rye spice, excuse me, not baking spice, but when you're drinking a rye, you got a rye spice. There's a strong spice.
Yeah, sure.
You have cigars sometime, and it's really spicy. You're like, oh, is it a baking spice? Is it a pep? All I could tell you is that I don't consider this. This seems more of a pepper for me, a bright pepper, but of intense pepper. So if that's white pepper. It's not like a red pepper flake, that you would get, like you would throw on a pizza.
I'm still I get more earthy. I get more of that wood. You had mentioned coffee. I had called it like a creamy, like back flavor, which I guess you could describe as coffee. And I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just, it's hitting me different. I'm enjoying the daylights out of it. I am a believer. First of all, I'm a huge believer in Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. These people are nutty good, ridiculously good. I am going to bet you, because this is a 5-inch by 48, right? So it's a 48 ring gauge. So it's on the smaller side, which I like. I like 48 as a ring gauge, but I'm not usually in that Robusto size, that 5-inch size. I'm willing to bet you, Fingers Malloy, dollars to donuts, that when I'm done, I'm going to wish this came in a Churchill. It only comes in the one size. It only comes as it is, with which you could. It wouldn't be a traditional Robusto. It's Robusto length. A Robusto would be a 50. The guys over at Half Wheel refer to it as a Rothschild, as the Vitola, as the size. And sometimes you'll find different people with different names for things. So we always like to give the measurements, and then whatever the blender decides to call it, they call it, and to each their own in that way.
Yeah. When we first lit this up and we were in the first third, and we're getting into the second third, for me that spice was starting to pick up, and now it's almost completely gone for me. I had coffee in the beginning. Now it's more wood.
Yeah. Interesting. But I think things will change, right? We're still in the first third. We've got a miles to go before we sleep. The question is, Fingers Malloy, is this in your humidor for $9.75 a stick?
Yes.
Say it again like you meant it.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't see how it isn't. I don't see how it isn't. This is a great example. We've over the past couple of weeks, we've had some cigars where we're like, yeah, it's really good if it was just $3 less a stick. If it was just under this price point. That is outrageously priced. The problem is it's hard to get. It's hard to come by here. That's the issue. That it has not been easy to find. That's been my problem with it. It has not been an easy one to get a hold of, and we've had these for months. We got these at the trade show, at the Premium Cigar Trade Show in Vegas. But there's a wonderful bit of flavor going on here. There's a wonderful bit of smoke going on here. This is Steve Saka doing what he does, and it's a beautiful presentation.
Yeah.
Simple, beautiful. Time, Fingers Malloy, for News of the Week.
Tony, the United States Secret Service has apologized after officials broke into a salon ahead of a Harris rally. That's according to the USA Today.
All right. So to understand what happened here is to understand the issues going on right now with the Secret Service, especially after the assassination attempt on former President Trump. There are so many things that have come up, so many things that have come to the surface about the improper way they handled the event, the lack of security, the failures that have taken place, the lapses. It has created anger. It has, by the way, in a bipartisan way. When Kim Cheadle was the director of the Secret Service, she has since resigned. When she was in front of that congressional panel, Republicans and Democrats, people you like and you don't like, it was unanimity in what in the world just happened here. Now, part of it is because they understand that they're elected officials and they don't want the Secret Service falling asleep on the job. What if it's them one day, right? So there was a little bit of they're looking at their own futures here and their own safety and security. But every single question was, well, I can't answer that right now. Well, we're still doing an investigation. The most liberal members, the most conservative members, what are you possibly talking about that you can't answer us 2 weeks after? You don't know who was responsible, who was the agent who failed. So that story has been going on, and we still don't have answers. We're over a month since the assassination attempt.
Feels like 6 months.
It does. I agree with you. In this case, they were doing their work, right? Vice President Harris was giving a speech somewhere. They literally broke into a hair salon. They covered up the video cameras, right? The cameras keeping an eye on the store with tape so nobody would see, even though we could see them do it. And for 2 hours, they used this person's bathroom. They didn't lock the door when they left. They didn't clean anything. They just broke into someone's place and used the bathroom. Apologies don't cut it. Someone has to lose their job. What is wrong with these people?
There's no accountability. That's the problem. And there's a sense that they are the law, so they're above the law. The idea that they would do this and just wander around that salon like they owned the place, it's shocking, the arrogance and the abuse of power that went on here. And I did see one report, the owner of this salon, Alicia Powers, said there were several people in and out for about an hour and a half just using my bathroom. The alarms are going off, using my counter with no permission. It's just a complete invasion of privacy.
Wait till you get to the part 2 of this story, that the Secret Service shut down these businesses. Vice President's coming through. You can't be in business right now. I didn't know that was even possible. I'm a believer in the Secret Service. I'm a believer in the protection of our elected officials. Regardless of party, that's how a smart nation should operate. Businesses have to shut down because the Secret Service is there? Tell the Secret Service to figure it out. Why do I lose out on business because somebody's coming for a visit? They're not, they deserve the protection. They're not more important than me feeding my kids.
Well, that on top of that, you've got a situation where you got the Vice President of the United States coming in your area. It may actually drum up some business for you that you're going to lose out on. Just not a good situation.
There's a lot that we have to start demanding of the Secret Service and changes that have to come. But most importantly, they are not above the law. They have to respect the people, and they have to have some accountability. You're absolutely right. You know, some people, Fingers Malloy, they call me Tony Katz. Some people call me the king of all media.
Oh, they do? Oh, wow.
Well, it used to be Howard, but those days are over. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. They call you America's favorite amateur drinker.
And the king of small media.
They call you Johnny Good News.
Oh, that's true, too.
They call you America's happy hour anchorman. They call you all those things. Well, one of the things they call me, in addition to all my other titles, is Mr. Etiquette. Because no one knows better how to handle a situation, regardless of the situation, than yours truly.
It's true.
So we come now with advice on how to deal in dating and dining out. There was a story over there. I think it was a Fox News story. Dinner date dilemmas revealed a new Yelp etiquette guide, including who should pay the bill. First, let me say, if you're going to Yelp for etiquette, you're doing it all wrong.
Oh, what's your Yelp review?
I've never Yelped, nor have I ever done a Yelp review, because I saw that South Park episode, and I said, that is not going to be me.
The Yelper special?
That is not going to be it. They surveyed 2,000 Yelp users, and they went over a series of things, including who pays the bill and how should people handle their phones. 80% of Yelp respondents said they believe phones should be put away at the dinner table, specifically while on a date, while only 54% of those surveyed said they should be put away during family meals.
And they're all liars.
They're liars, but they're not wrong.
Right.
If you are on a date and someone's phone is out, that is a problem. Now, if the phone is out and down, I can almost see it. If the phone is out and up, you should find another date.
Would you say if you were out on a date and someone had their phone out, your date had their phone out,
right,
would it give you the ick?
No. I don't think that would not give me the ick. It would give me the she is interested in something else happening on her phone. And if she isn't willing to at least try to pay attention to see if there is some level of connection, then she's already told me what's what.
So how many, we're going to do our own survey
In which case, just order appetizers so you get a little snack and then head over to someplace else.
No, you just head over to someplace else.
Just leave right there?
Absolutely. If you are with someone and it's a first date and they pick up their phone within the first 3 minutes and they've messaged people, then
just get up and leave?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you say anything when you leave, or are you just like, hey, this isn't for me, and then just walk out.
Obviously, you have something else on your mind right now, and I completely respect that. It was a pleasure meeting you. Out the
Gone.
door. Out the door.
I like this.
Absolutely.
I like this. I do like the idea of getting the appetizer because I like appetizers.
But there are other restaurants in town, I would think. You got to sit and wait for the appetizer and watch this person get on their phone 12 more times.
Now it's a show. Now you're going to see how crazy she is, and then you've got a story. I think it's worth a couple of crab puffs just to see what happens with the crazy.
But the story isn't good enough with you getting up and leaving after she picks up her phone.
No, that's also a good story. That's also a good story. But you're like super nice about it. Hey, clearly you have something else on your mind. Take care, right? That's you. That's you. I think it would be better if she picked up her phone and you just stood up and went, nope, and walked out.
Eat a bag of phones and walk out the door. That's what you say. No, but what cracks me up about this is everyone knows that is proper behavior at the table. Mm-hmm. And yet nobody, for the most part, behaves that way. You walk into a restaurant and you look at, say, there are 15 tables.
Right.
14 tables have people on their phones with people right in front of them, talking to people apparently who they would rather be with than the people at the table.
Now, there could be a reason. Somebody could be looking something up. Somebody could be sharing the information, right? There are reasons, but I get your point, and you're right about that. The next question, what did you want to say?
Well, I was going to say, to be fair.
This is getting to
to be fair, they could be looking at the menu, too, on the phone because people are doing the whole QR codes now.
Do you like that?
Yes, I love it.
I can't stand it.
Really?
Clean your menus properly, hand me something, and then let me look at it.
In an ideal world, I absolutely agree with you 100%. But when you go to, I'm not going to mention any chain restaurant, and you see that menu hasn't been changed since the Obama administration, hasn't been cleaned either since the Obama administration, you know that the germs are all over the thing. I just want to pick up my germy phone and look at it with my own germs on it.
Because your germs are better?
Well,
you got the finer of germs?
They're elitists.
68% of people thought the person who initiated the date should pick up the check. Of those surveyed who are located in the southern parts of the U.S., 74% of respondents thought this to be true. They're all wrong. The man picks up the check. End of list. I'm glad we had this talk.
Okay. Let me play devil's advocate.
If she's on her phone, Dutch.
Let me play devil's advocate for 30 seconds here. The lady asks you out and is quite bold about it. I would love to go out to dinner with you sometime. Let's go.
I'd like to take you out for some chicken.
Yes, exactly. I think if I were in that situation and she asked me out, I would reach for the check and intend to pay for it, the meal. But if she said, I asked you out and was taking the check, I'm not going to argue with her.
Okay. That is a sure sign that she should never have children with you because those babies are going to have soft heads, as Joe Rogan explained. You are a man. You pick up the check. There are no alligator arms. You arrange to get that check before it ever comes to the table.
I didn't say alligator arms. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, let me reach for my wallet.
She says, I demand to pay. You say to her, listen, if we're going to have any kind of relationship, there are going to be moments where you contribute and I contribute. But I pay for this. That's how this works. If you can't handle that, let me know. It's been a pleasure. I'm still paying for it, but let me know if you can't handle that.
Wow.
That's how it works. That's what men do. Now, the reason you do that is so when you never call her again, she can't say, and I paid for dinner. See that?
Then you Venmo her the $35 and you move on with your day.
If you ever Venmo a woman money for the meal you just ate, just hand in your man card. It's over.
When you walk away and she paid for the meal and you're like, wow, that was not at all. And then, okay. Especially if it's an unpleasant experience, yeah, then I'm demanding to pay for the check. I'm paying the check. But if she's insistent, she asked me out and it's a first date, Okay, I guess. Just understand that I'm going to be paying for the next 3 because it's only going to last 4 dates anyway. Have you met me?
Well, that's because you stopped trying.
Duh.
Now there's a question about being on time. 76% of the survey participants said it is unacceptable to run late by 10 minutes or more to a sit-down restaurant appointment. It is unacceptable to run 10 minutes late at any appointment. Early is on time and on time is late.
15 minutes early, sit in your car and wait, or go in and have a drink.
Right.
You don't want to show up a half hour before and sitting at the table waiting and rocking back and
put
forth.
Your hands underneath your chin.
That was for your amusement. And sit there and wait. That looks a little desperate.
You be there early and then you walk in. Sit at the bar and have a drink. Totally normal. Make sure everything's good and set. Absolutely.
A beer or a bourbon?
A bourbon. A bourbon. Admittedly, I don't know if I would start with a drink or I'd start with a Diet Coke. I don't know. Maybe I'd wait for the drink part.
Me? Slow gin fizz.
Is that right?
Yes.
Really?
Makes me feel festive.
Maybe a grasshopper.
Harvey Wallbanger.
Order a drink with an umbrella in it just to see what she does. And some kind of electric blue.
Mai Tai, my lady?
I saw My Time, My Lady open up for Duran Duran in 1986.
There it is.
What a good show. We're talking about being Kentucky born and raised. You got to love it when a bourbon just pronounces it so prominently on the bottle in their branding. Now, bourbon doesn't have to come from Kentucky. Bourbon is the American drink. But for the people at RD1, Registered Distillery 1, they thought it was necessary. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy, from RD1, the Registered Distillery 1, founded in 2020. This is their Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. The small batch coming in at 49% alcohol by volume, 98 proof. So close, Fingers Malloy. So close, anything over 100 proof. Gets a bit of applause from Fingers Malloy. Absolutely beautiful bottle. It's like the rattle and snap kind of a bottle where it's squat. It's a touch curved, but this has some nice embossing to it. This was really a beautiful presentation here. Not familiar with the bourbon. Has won a series of awards. Fred Minnick gave it gold in the 2023 Ascot Awards. I'm looking forward to it. It is Fingers, as we have this in the neat right here at the rocks glass. We have it neat. We will add a cube or water to it later. That is a little bit lighter, but a nice copper honey color to it. Attractive, sticking to the glass a little bit. So far, looks very, very pretty. Great presentation, as I said.
Yes, absolutely. On the nose, it's nice.
Ooh, that's a lot. That is a lot right there.
There's oak. There's a sweetness. I would argue probably vanilla, and then
there's a bit of ethanol. There's a sting to the nostril right there.
Boy, don't put your nose too deep in there, because it's
I'm
actually
nose in. I'm doing it.
There is significant ethanol, but not off-putting. There's
a sweet there. There's a you get oak. I'm not a little. But there is a generalized sweetness. I don't know what that is.
Maybe a little honey.
Nah, it's not. There's honey in the look. I'm not getting that in the nose.
It's pleasant.
It is. It's funny. It started off a bit floral for me as I'm more into the nose on this. The RD1 Registered Distillery 1. It's a little more alcohol focused. A touch of oak. Maybe I'll call that sweetness of vanilla, but I don't know if that's 100% accurate either. But it's pretty. It's pretty. The ethanol might be off-putting, but the other flavors are inviting. I think that's the best way to put it. Some people might like that ethanol hit. They might, you know.
I actually do like.
That's what I figured. That's what I figured. Fingers Malloy, are you ready for this? By the way, a mash bill: 70% corn, 21% rye, 9% malted barley, which would make you think this is going to be a pretty sweet thing. But 21% rye going on there. There might be a spice back to this, or it might be very spice forward.
Could be. And to answer your question, I've been ready for this all day.
Are you ready for this?
I've been ready for this all week.
We are going to take a sip. Fingers Malloy is going to do what's known as the Kentucky Chew. You take a sip, move it around the palate, get a feel for the bourbon, a feel for the juice. Sometimes you want to take 2 sips. The first one to set the palate. The second one to really understand the flavors there. Nose a little bit vexing for me. Fingers Malloy, what do you say after doing the Kentucky Chew?
Well, there's definitely a spice, and the oak is there. The vanilla is there. It's a little thin to me, but it's very pleasant. It does not that ethanol that you get on the nose. You're really not experiencing a strong, for me, alcohol flavor, and there's really barely a sting on the tongue, really not much of a warmth in the chest. It's pretty good.
All right, I'm going in. This is from RD1 right here, which stands for Registered Distillery 1. This is their Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, small batch, 98 proof, 4 years it is aged. I'm going in. You ready? Here we go.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing what we like to call the Saginaw Swish, the Memphis Munch, Chattanooga Chomp. That's all I got.
Oh, that is pretty. There's a little bit of sugar. It's cakey. Oh, yeah. Like if you mixed one of those like store-bought cakes with the buttercream and the cake part, right? Mm-hmm. It's like it's cake, right? And you mixed it with vanilla ice cream and you mixed it together. It's that.
Okay, so
it's that kind of thing.
I'm getting the vanilla. I'm not getting the box cake.
Oh, it is all over the tongue. There's a little bit of a sugary happening. There's actually a tiny bit of oak going on. There's a little bit of spice. There is zero heat. Yeah. Maybe now, because I'm talking about it, I can feel a bit of a rumbling in the center chest. Oh, the finish is a little bit of oak. Oh.
You like?
Oh, kitten.
I don't want to monkey with this.
Oh, you're going to have to.
I know.
We have rules here. We do it for Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation. Holy cow. So there's a great example of that is a sweet bourbon, right? But not candy sweet. That offers it offers a spice oak back undercurrent that is just playing pleasantly. It's constantly. Still, I haven't taken another sip. Still in the finish, constantly there. There's a little bit of cream going on the tongue. That is nice.
Work with me on this. I think this is the kind of juice that would play for the entire table. If you're a traditional bourbon drinker, there's enough there where you're like, okay, I can like this. If you like a rye, there's some rye spice there.
Yeah.
You like that. If you're not necessarily a bourbon drinker and you're not someone who would like to drink something that's 100 proof, this doesn't play like it's 100 proof. I think that this is a bottle you could bring and most people would enjoy it.
That is a really fun, valuable flavor profile. That's what that is. Because everything really is playing independently and works nice together. That, it's not that everything is combining. It's just, it's moving. It's flowing on the tongue. That's wonderful. The RD1 small batch. That's good. That is solid. I think that for some people who would consider themselves maybe more bourbon purist, it might be too sweet. It might be too sweet for them, but it's really, really well done. Registered Distillery 1. This is the small batch Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Now, the question is this in your liquor cabinet? We will get to the pricing coming up in just a bit. Find everything we do over at eatdrinksmokeshow.com, Instagram, Eat Drink Smoke Podcast, and on Twitter X, Go Eat Drink Smoke. So inflation might be trending down, although a lot of people cheering about the information this week doesn't show a downtrend. It shows the opportunity for a downtrend. And the people celebrating are not the people who live on Midwest Main Street. Wall Street, they may be all excited and things may be going up. Midwest Main Street is still dealing with higher prices all over the place. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. Find everything over at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. There's this tendency to take a look at top line and decide, well, that's everything. Everything's better. It's not. And one of the things you have to do with this inflation report, if you go to BLS.gov, Bureau of Labor Statistics, .gov, because you are that much of a geek, it'll show you everything that happened in July, right? What's up and what's down. So, for example, utilities, gas service was down quite a bit. It was up in June, down July, down 0.7. It kind of makes sense. Less people are using gas, natural gas, because this is about piped gas service as opposed to things you use for your car in the summer. That makes perfect sense. But when you take a look at food at home was up. Food away from home was up. It was up 0.2. And the economist that I talked to, as you talk about food overall, that'll put you up 2.4 for the year. 0.2 times 12, 2.4% for the year. But what's important to remember here is that this number is based on something that was up the year before. So it's not that inflation is now at 2.4% on food. It's that it is up year over year. The total inflation is still higher. And another place where this is super fascinating, when you take a look at used cars and trucks down 2.3% in July. For the 12 months that ended, down 10.9. Well, that's great. That's excellent. Now maybe people can afford used cars again as that market has languished. Transportation services are at 8.8 and shelters at 5.1, meaning your house. So you can afford a car, but you can't afford a house. You see that the way these numbers play out. We have an opportunity to maybe put inflation to bed. I'd be thrilled with that. There's nothing about this inflation that makes me feel good. Wages, they want to argue, have kept pace or actually beaten pace on inflation. That is not true at all. Talk to the people who are out there buying the food every single day, and they'll tell you a very different story. So this number on inflation shows the opportunity for trend, but does not mean a trend in the down.
And on top of that, you mentioned that some would argue that wages have kept up with inflation, and I don't think that's true either. But it definitely isn't true if you don't have any wages and you're just on a fixed income when you're retired.
Right.
Great point. Those people are really suffering. And I have my dad is 86 now.
Right. Fingers Malloy Sr.
Yes. Fingers Malloy Sr. Still doing great. He's on a fixed income, and he asked me to kind of step in and start, taking care of his bills, not paying them, but, with my money, but he's got the money to pay them. But, the memory isn't what it used to be. And, he doesn't like writing checks anymore. So this is, we're converting to more of the online, bill paying, and forget about that,
right.
For him. And, to see, where his income is, and then getting on some of these accounts and seeing what the bills maybe were 2 or 3 years ago compared to where they are now. My goodness, my heart goes out to people that are on a fixed income that have had to live through all of this.
There is a commentator named Jennifer Stefano who I did work with years ago. She's terrific. She's out of the Philadelphia area, and she's been doing these videos about She talks to people in Philadelphia, and if you could ask Donald Trump, right? She's on the political right, and if you could ask Donald Trump one question, what would you ask him? And she says what people say to her is rump roast.
I'm sorry?
Rump roast. You ever have the rump roast?
Oh, who hasn't had it?
If a rump roast 3 years ago was $5.99, and now it's $12.99. This is the real world. This is what people are living in. MSNBC did a panel in Pennsylvania, Black Americans. People like to divide things by race, whatever. And there is a woman discussing the fact that inflation is real. And what do you do when the $2 bell pepper is now $5? And what do you do when you're the single mom on food stamps? And she starts to get herself into tears and uses the following expression. It is a stunning bit of video. And she says, they're killing us without killing us. I don't care who you are. Beyond how heavy it is. Do you know how remarkably astute that is? I don't know this woman's story. She could have 7 PhDs in political science. She could have never gone to college. The point is, the minute you hear it, you're like, oh, wow. I, to some level, in some way, have said that to myself. That has permeated the back of my brain, and somewhere I've looked at the prices, and maybe I use the expression, how does anybody afford anything? Or I've said to myself, man, they're killing me with these prices. She said it in a much more direct way that I think is remarkably connected. Remarkably
connected and authentic.
Right.
Which is what you don't see a lot on cable news today, unfortunately. It's picking winners and losers based on particular poll results or what this politician said or that politician said and how this would have an impact on the race. Meanwhile, people are struggling to pay for groceries.
This leads us to Social Security because Social Security, according to MarketWatch.com, cost of living adjustments, they think they're going to go down. If you take a look at 2025 numbers, and if you take a look at where they think inflation is going, if they can get it to trend in a downward direction, that the 3.2% increase in living that just took place will go down to the average 2.6. And that's going to infuriate people saying, well, we can't keep up with the cost of living. And they're going to say, well, inflation is trending down. And these people are going to say, I can't afford a rump roast or a bell pepper. I cannot make a full meal, damn it.
Yeah.
And they're right. This is a
right.
great example of that disconnect we're talking about between Wall Street and Midwest Main Street.
Absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see what happens if the Fed in September makes a significant rate cut.
Yeah. Everything's trending in that direction.
Are we talking 0.5%, you think?
So the market is desperate for 0.5%. I think if they do 0.25%, the market's going to react in a very negative way. In 0.5%, people are going to say this was the very minimum they could do. I think there's some people who are desperate for 0.75 point. I don't see it. I don't see it coming in the slightest. Now, listen, I'm not your advisor, right? I'm not your economic advisor. Do not take investing advice from a guy who reviews bourbon on the radio. That is sound advice right there.
Unless he's telling you to invest in bourbon.
Oh my gosh. Also would never tell you to do such a thing. But people are going to be infuriated by this because this idea that we're tied to inflation as opposed to real prices, that's going to get a lot of people upset. Eat, drink, smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. We are smoking right now the Umbagog Bronzeback from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. You've seen the Umbagog before. This is a variation. You're talking about the wrapper, which is that Connecticut broadleaf from a different part on the tobacco, a different part of the priming there. This is a delicious smoke. I'm telling you, Fingers, everybody and their mother says there's a real spice here. I'm sorry, it's me. I don't get it.
It is you, because now we're We're into the second, third. And by the way, this is smoking a lot slower than I thought it was going to.
Construction is miraculous. The feel is great. The wrapper's gorgeous. I've done a couple of touch-ups, but that's because I put it down. We've been doing the show. Absolutely terrific. And under $10 a stick, if I could find them, I'd buy it I think they do this by the bundle, and I would buy it.
Yeah. That wood has picked up and the spice has picked up. I'm not getting so much of that coffee that I got at the beginning of the first third of this of the cigar. But at $8, it's
no, $9.75.
Oh, $9.75.
I guess maybe if you found it on sale for $8, you'd definitely buy it.
Well, you find it at all, apparently, which it looks like it's difficult to get your hands on. But $9 or $9.75 a stick, it's definitely in my humidor if I could find it.
Right. So 5 inches, that Robusto size, but it's a 48 ring gauge. So they refer to it as a Rothschild. Nice ring gauge. 48 is great. It really gives you a better proportion ratio of wrapper to binder and filler. And it does make a difference. You don't look, there are reasons to grab a 60 ring gauge or a 56 ring gauge. That 48 to 52 range for me is always it. And there's a reason to be in the 48s. There's a reason to try the Lanceros. In the 42, 43, those Panatellas. There's a lot of great opportunity in there to really experience the ratio difference and really a flavor difference, even from cigars that you like. Now, they only make this in the one size. I said earlier, I know that I'm going to wish this was in a Churchill. I'm getting close to that spot. Right? There is a spice, but it is not overwhelming me. It's not hitting me hard in any way. It's really a nice balance to this cigar and an earthiness. There's a little more tobacco that's come out. I do think that if you think about it, maybe some of what I'm experiencing is a little bit of a coffee kind of thing. Maybe. So it is the Umbagog Bronzeback. Umbagog is the name of a lake, and the Bronzeback is the name of a fish, and thus Steve Saka, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, put it together. Nice cigar. But we are drinking from RD1, Registered Distillery 1, their small batch bourbon whiskey, 98 proof, 70% corn on this one. And then it is 23%, 21% rye, 9% malted barley. I thought it was great neat. It had a real sweetness, a little bit of an oak undertone there. A little sweeter than maybe some people want to do. I really liked it neat. But we do what we do, Fingers Malloy.
I hate monkeying with this, but I put a little bit of cool water in mine. You've got it on the big rock.
I got it on a sphere.
Oh, the sphere.
I am spherical right there.
Wow.
Next week, the trapezoid.
What an age we live in.
It is. I'm going in, Fingers. I'm going in.
Okay.
Now, water, of course, brings down the proof. This is 98 proof, and it changes the complexion of the bourbon. It can bring out more spice. It can mute other things. You try it in these different ways because you don't necessarily know how you like that bourbon. You have to be willing to experiment and try the things and then see what it is you really like.
I can't tell you how many times we've tried a bourbon neat and we weren't fans of it. As soon as we did something to it, it was like, oh, it's an entirely different bourbon. Absolutely love it.
Here we go. The RD1, Registered Distillery 1. Here I'm in.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's sphering it up and doing what we like to call the
It smelled sweeter. The nose, I could feel it. That nose, when we did it neat, it just went down the wrong track.
Smooth.
It had an ethanol hit. You really could on the neat get the ethanol. A little spicier, a little creamier on the nose going in. I think I still like it neat. But that's not bad at all.
Get the nose on that.
Hold on.
So I put a couple drops of cool water, and I completely agree with you. That ethanol is almost completely gone.
And it's creamier.
Yeah.
You can actually smell it as creamy, like a vanilla cream.
Yep.
Like a vanilla cake almost.
There it is again.
The cake thing, man. And by the way, I looked around and wanted to see what some other people did. breakingbourbon.com, which is excellent. Those guys do excellent work. They referred to it as vanilla cake, so I'm not crazy.
I didn't say you were crazy. I was just trying to think of Pillsbury?
Pillsbury doesn't make cake. They make toaster strudels. Crescent rolls.
Fact check.
Pillsbury, do they have cake
I think
mixes?
they have box
Duncan
cake
Hines. Betty Crocker.
I'm going to, as soon as I'm done sipping this, I'm going to ask Jeeves if Pillsbury makes cake mix.
He's going in. He added a little bit of water to his RD1, Registered Distillery 1, straight bourbon whiskey, aged 4 years, 98 proof.
Okay, I was wrong.
What were you wrong about?
I said that I didn't want to monkey with this. I was worried about putting water in it. Whatever alcohol was on the
that ethanol content?
yeah, it's gone. It's gone, and there wasn't like a whole bunch to begin with. It was more on the nose. It took down that rye spice a little bit. Also took down the sweetness. Brought out a little bit more of the oak for me and that vanilla. Yeah, it's very, very good. I'm very happy with it.
I could see some people thinking that this is a little bit oversweet for them, but I'm telling you, it's really, really nice. I'm going to remember this. The question, Fingers Malloy, is this in our liquor cabinet, your liquor cabinet, my liquor cabinet? You got this bottle, Fingers Malloy. What did you pay for the registered distillery one, the RD1 small batch straight bourbon whiskey?
In Central Indiana, you can find a bottle of this for $59.99.
Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Ha. Oh, no.
Wouldn't it have been better if I said, Tony, you can find a bottle of this for $39.99?
Yep. Oh, come on. 60?
Yeah.
Oh.
So again, it's one of these things, right?
Oh, you son of a no good piece of... Oh, now I don't know. It's good. It's different. And again, that sweetness, it might be a little much for some. I actually enjoy it because it does have a presentable, lasting oak undercurrent, which I appreciate. Are you a yes or a no?
I'm a yeah. And this is all about price point. I mean, if you slap this bottle in front of me, I'm drinking it and I'm happy. That's $60 though.
Things
Man.
you could say about bourbon and not at your wedding. Yeah. I maybe, because it's good. It's that price point bothers me, and I got to tell you, not $39.99, $49.99.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're talking $10 again.
Yeah. When are we not talking $10? Yeah. When are we not talking a couple bucks? I honestly, I don't know. I guess if I'm saying I don't know, I have to say no.
I guess.
Except I like it. I guess what I'm doing is I've got it marked and now I'm looking for it on sale.
So I'm America's happy hour anchorman, as you say?
That's what they say in the trades.
I have breaking news. From the fine folks at PillsburyBaking.com, for goodness cakes, from white, classic, to bright and bold, our cake mixes will take your upcoming party to get together to the next level.
Ooh, I've always wanted to go to the next level. Well, and many people have promised. You're saying Pillsbury can deliver?
Oh, look at all of these. And we'll have it on eatdrinksmokeshow.com, the amount of cake mixes.
I did not know. I've never seen a Pillsbury cake mix before.
I can't believe you're arguing with me about cake. Good Lord. I, Fingers Malloy, America's happy hour anchorman, have come across a story that I've been waiting years to report to Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation. I have not been so excited to share this with you. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Fingers Malloy along with Tony Katz. Find everything we do on our website, eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Tony.
Yes.
One of my favorite places to go for news is the New York Post, for no other reason than they have the best headlines in media.
Yes, they practice it.
Yes. Are you ready for this headline?
I guess so.
Because this is so exciting. Because as you know, we are in the middle of August. You know this because you own a calendar.
Right.
Right around the corner is pumpkin spice season.
Correct. That is America's favorite season. It runs from August 22nd to August 21st.
I see what you did there.
Thank you.
The New York Post reports, Pumpkin spice's reign may be ending as adults look to varied fall flavors.
Hooey. Nonsense. Heresy. I'd be sending people to the gallows right now. Fingers Malloy, as we know, there's nothing finer than pumpkin spice. Nothing better than pumpkin spice. Name a flavor.
Cinnamon.
Not as good as pumpkin spice. Go ahead, name another one.
Marzipan.
Not as good as pumpkin spice. Name something else. Go ahead.
Vanilla.
Not as good as pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice brings people together. It lets us know that fall is here and cures the gout.
Well, first of all, it doesn't cure the gout. Believe me, as a longtime gout sufferer, the only thing that cures gout, apparently, for me, is losing 70 pounds.
That doesn't hurt. That'll cure a lot of what ails you.
Yeah.
By the way, lose a quick 70.
So, getting back to this fantastic news, they're actually thinking about throwing a ticker tape parade in New York based on this survey and its results. According to a survey of 2,000 U.S. adults, which revealed that 58% believe there are better unsung heroes during the fall season than pumpkin spice.
Like?
Salted caramel.
Salted caramel's a good flavor.
Cinnamon. 39% believe it's better than pumpkin spice. Candy apple.
Oh, now we're just being silly.
36%. Those all ranked above pumpkin spice in terms of favorite fall flavor. And this has been my position. If you look over at the Fingers Malloy Institute for Institutes of Institutes platform, we actually
very prestigious institute, by the way.
We have a platform about all the issues, and pumpkin spice is one of the issues that we cover.
It has its own category, right next to global thermonuclear war.
That's so true. And I love pumpkin spice. I really do. Put a pumpkin pie in front of me right now, I will eat the whole thing in front of you and ask for another.
I would eat a pumpkin pie as well right now. I love pumpkin pie.
But it's overdone. I don't need pumpkin in my beer.
No, that's just wrong.
I don't need pumpkin in my whiskey.
Equally, mostly wrong.
You look at products in the grocery store, and the amount of pumpkin spice products come September in your grocery stores is obscene, and it needs to stop. Pumpkin spice is not a lifestyle.
True. But that is your problem. Is you're so constantly angry about it that you don't seem to admit that it is at least delicious. It is delicious.
Do you even listen? When I have pumpkin pie, I like it with a cup of coffee. I don't want pumpkin pie coffee.
Right. I can appreciate.
Well, what are we talking about here then? You're agreeing with me. I go step by step right along the way. You're like, yeah, I can appreciate. I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. You know what I'm starting to think, Tony?
What?
I'm starting to think that you're just Mr. Devil's Advocate here, and you actually are not a pumpkin spice. You're a pumpkin spice poser. That's what you are, Tony Katz.
Okay, I want you to listen to me carefully. I didn't say pumpkin spice should be in everything. I said pumpkin spice is good. You, for years, have railed about pumpkin spice that somehow waterboarding is better.
They do now have, over at the CIA, pumpkin spice waterboarding.
This is the problem. You're out of your head, out of your mind on pumpkin spice. It is irrational. You have to be rational about these things. Like, for example, when I talk about Tootsie Rolls being devil scat and the most horrific thing ever, not candy, it's absolute garbage. And if you give that out for Halloween, chances are you're going to hell. Totally rational point of view. When I state that a grown-up should wear a suit on a plane, a man should wear a suit on a plane, and if he doesn't, chances are he's lousy in bed, I'm saying that is rational and easy to understand. But you just get crazy about the pumpkin spice.
What about pumpkin spice Tootsie Rolls? I mean, because clearly you're a huge fan of pumpkin spice. What if you put pumpkin spice in a Tootsie Roll? I'm sure it's available.
It would make it better. And secondly, I will stop this show right now. I will turn this show right around, young man. You cannot make a Tootsie Roll better. Who am I kidding? It's garbage. Garbage. But people, are they bothered that pumpkin spice is in everything? Or are they bothered that people talk about pumpkin spice and not the other things? Because maybe they're just being contrarians.
58% of these people surveyed said that they believe that there are better flavors than pumpkin spice during the fall season.
How many of these people who answered this survey would never answer a political survey?
58%.
The things that people feel are important. What else you got?
Well, I'll tell you what else is important, and this is not good news. Big Lots is closing hundreds of stores after warning it could go completely out of business.
I think that this is not a function of the economy as it is a function, as we've discussed this before, of tastes changing. You have so many places to be able to get low-cost furniture and some of these other things. You don't need it anymore. The shopping has changed, and so I think that's the story. Would Kmart survive in today's world? No. The answer is no.
There's still 2 Kmarts.
Well, you can go visit both of them. And I hear they're selling a lot of pumpkin spice. I think that's it. That's just about things changing. If you want a number that's going to freak you out, if you want a story that'll freak you out, Subway this week had an emergency call with their 19,000 franchisees because the stores are not making money. So Subway was the place you went for a low-cost sandwich, $5 footlong or all these other things. Food prices have gone up so much that they no longer can sell at those prices, and now they're selling at the prices where people say, well, this is no longer a deal. So the profits aren't there, and they are concerned. They're rolling out a whole new plan to try and get people back in the store. Again, talking about inflation, talking about where the economy is. Some things aren't reflective of the economy. I believe that's Big Lots. Some things are. That's Subway.
I bought 4 subs the other day from Subway, and it was over $50.
That's not true.
Yes.
What?
You add on avocado, this and that, and the other thing with tax and maybe a cookie, over $50. And I thought to myself, my goodness, would you ever dream 4 years ago that getting 4 subs at Subway would cost you $50? And then there's other premium sub shops. Man, there's this, I'm not going to mention the name. They make a huge steak sandwich that I absolutely love. And it's like $18 now. It's like I could get a steak for $18.
Does it rhyme with Penn Station?
No, it does not.
Oh, really?
No, it doesn't rhyme, but it's from your old stomping grounds.
Oh, okay. Jersey Mike's. You meant Jersey Mike's. This is rough. This is the stuff. This is the everyday stuff that people are real. It's really affecting people, which is why I take a look at this bourbon. Registered Distillery 1, their small batch, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, and I'm like, this is good. It's got this sweetness. It's really, really enjoyable. $60 a bottle is a rough one on that. But this Umbagog Bronzeback from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust that we're smoking, we're in the final third right now, $9.75 a stick all day. It's a 5x48. Not my normal size. And yes, I'd love it as a Churchill. This is an all-day smoke. This is terrific. Find everything we do over at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. This is Eat Drink Smoke.
Follow Eat Drink Smoke on social media, on Twitter at Go Eat Drink Smoke, on Facebook, facebook.com/eatdrinksmoke, and Instagram at Eat Drink Smoke Podcast.